Hey guys, so today we are going to be going over Emma, and Emma does have a job plus in Japan, which is partially why I'm going over her, because her kit is unique. This is her OG skin, by the way, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. I actually think this is one of the highest quality OG skins. The detail in it actually is really good, and only a couple parts are kind of blurry, and they're really parts that I don't think matter as much. The detail is where the detail needs to be. So it's just my personal opinion. And you also have this awesome pose that she does, which is pretty common for new job pluses, and even some of the old job pluses have gotten these poses. So yeah, this is Emma in all her glory. So let's go and take a look at what Emma can do. We'll start off with her Kaigan. So naturally, you always want to start with Gate 1, and this is especially true with Forecasters. Gate 1 has HP. How do forecasters do the highest amount of damage they can do? Losing their HP, and the more HP you have, the more damage you can do. It's also going to boost her luck and her magic defense and physical defense a little bit, which isn't too consequential, but it's a nice little bonus. Now, her Sloth Gate. This one is kind of awkward. So basically, the Sloth Gate is minus 25 jewel spent rate, which is minus 25% of the jewels you would normally spend on a skill. I max this, and the reason I max this is because it's a tempo thing, and I like having tempo. But you do not actually have to max this. This is more of a quality of life thing. It is a very nice quality of life thing, but it is by no means mandatory. You do not have to max this if you don't want to. The stats on this gate, she doesn't really use. It's physical defense, magic defense, crit, and hit rate. The hit rate's kind of nice, but Emma doesn't really need it. Her dex is 306. It's not Ultima level bad. Now, as for her Lust Gate, her leader skill is going to be HP plus 30%, max jewels plus 20%, and fire plus 20. Honestly, I don't think it's a very good leader skill. It's niche at best. Honestly, I just go for pure stats, and max jewels is just not a stat that I really care about that much. If I need to get jewels on someone, I will equip a piece of gear, or I'll use some kind of like jewel battery type unit. However, raising this gate isn't necessarily a bad thing. This gate does have luck on it, although it's not a ton of luck. You can raise it up to 4 if you would like. It's just by no means mandatory. The evasion rate is going to be clutch every once in a while, making your forecaster avoid a hit that might have otherwise killed her. But in general, 3 in this gate is fine. 4 if you want to invest just a little bit more of the Kaigan mats in. It really doesn't matter that much. She does not have her gate 3 or her gate 5 yet, so obviously we can't go into that, but I can't imagine that she would get any weaker with such things. So, let's go ahead and take a look at her Nenso, because she does have her own Nenso. And the base stat on that is 24 luck right there, as you can see. And we're going to go quick and hop into this. So, the one thing you need to know is that this Nenso is designed to make Pamela good. So, Pamela is designed to be run alongside of Emma, and Pamela's kit complements a Forecaster's kit. So just do keep that in mind. Pamela is a free unit that came with Emma's Job Plus. And if you want to run Pamela to the best of her ability, you're going to need this Nenso, and you're going to need to have it equipped on Emma. So, the group skill here is also luck. So, tons and tons of luck getting shoved right into Emma. Another quick thing to note is that her master ability is plus 50 luck, plus 10 all status res, which is not great, but once again, that's even more luck. So as you can see, Emma is actually a pretty good user of that AoE that forecasters have, although hers is a little bit different. Let's go back over to the Nenso, though. If I can find it. Okay, here it is. So we're going to go down here. So technically, Noah could also use this, but this 410 HP, 9 speed, and plus 1 jump is going to be a buff for Pamela, and Pamela alone when either Noah or Emma wear this Nenso. So just keep that in mind. If we go down a little bit further here, we will see that we have 49 magic, attack, 6 wind resistance, plus 12 strong versus wind, and plus 30 strong versus snow. You guys don't need to worry about strong versus snow. It's a raid thing. It was a one-time thing. I guess to sell the Enso more or something. It was for the Christmas event with the snowmen. I actually have a video of it somewhere in the channel of me fighting the large snowman, where that was actually an applicable buff. Otherwise, you're basically getting this for the strong versus wind, so your fire attacks on Emma do more damage, and don't forget that this also is good on Noah and Pamela as well. And there is also a vision ability down here, and it is a fire magic attack, and we'll go into that more when we go into the map itself. Gear. So, HP gear. This is the standard HP gear. I use the Tamama VCR. 700 HP, 25 defense, and plus 15 jewel gain. You either need the Tamama VCR, or you need the life belt, or you need some other high piece of high HP gear that is not regen armor. You should never run regen armor on a forecaster / diviner. Ever. You want their HP as low as possible without dying. If you have neither, the rainbow armor is a really good stand-in. The HP is about the same as the regen, but it's also going to pack those Ellie resists that'll help you stay alive a little bit better. It's a great piece of all-around gear. Unfortunately, there is no equivalent to the Retzius VCR that Neferti can use in the Lustberg group. However, the Tamama VCR works just as well, and if you're lucky enough to get your hands on a life belt, go ahead and use that. So Emma does have her own VCR, and it isn't necessarily Emma's VCR per se. This is more of a general use VCR, and while its stats aren't necessarily great, it does come in handy for certain maps like Floor 120. I was using this particular VCR on Floor 120 to keep my Tiona alive from these pierce attacks, but we'll go more into that in just a moment. First off, the stats on this. It is plus 30 max jewels, plus 40 luck, and plus 10 wind resistance. Obviously best used on a fire unit. Now, it does have a weapon ability, and this is 3 turns of pierce resistance plus 50 and jump resistance plus 50. There will be maps where you're going to want to have a couple of these, maybe, to help you resist some front-loaded damage. It's not as useful as the Fujiga VCR because Pierce and Jump are not as common of a type of damage as, say, Missile and Magic. Specifically, Magic and Missile is... Well, Magic is one that really hurts a lot, but there are a couple maps where Missile's a big deal, too. And the VCR is going to have another ability, which is going to only be usable by Emma, Noah, and Pamela, which is going to be a 50% rate heal instacast. And it has 2 charges, so this is actually really nice because you can toss Emma onto any fire team and she can become a decent healer. She's got 2 instacast heals, and she technically has her forecaster AoE heal. Although if you want to do damage with Emma, you obviously can't use that because it's going to not only heal Emma, but also set regen on her for 3 turns. It's going to keep Emma out of the battle for a little bit, but there have been maps where that heal has come in pretty clutch for me. And it might have taken Emma out of the battle for a couple turns, but in general it did save me from dying, and in turn let me clear the map. So this third piece of gear here, right? This is a doozy because there is a lot of gear that works really well on her. So we're going to start with any kind of speed gear is ideal. So in this particular case, since I already have the luck on the VCR, and you don't really need magic because you shouldn't be maxing rain on Emma anyways, so you shouldn't really have an... Well, I think you do have one attack that uses magic, so having some magic isn't a bad thing, but it's not like the most common attack you use. Any kind of speed gear, though, that's definitely ideal. Something like, say, Nina's staff that has 50 plus 50 magic and plus 10 speed. Obviously, this is a great item to use. If we go over into the accessory side of things, you could use Soul's VCR, which is 10 speed and 6 magic modifier. Don't forget that magic modifier makes the wind nuke do more damage. So magic modifier is definitely a great thing to have, and if you can get that with speed, that is probably going to be your best bet damage-wise. Another option is, where is it? It's in here somewhere. Another option is Krima's VCR, which is plus 10 speed, plus 50 luck, and I think that's plus 12 fire resistance. This is also going to change Emma's counter into one that affects an AoE around the target hitting her, rather than just the target itself. This is probably one of the better options as well. Emma does not have very many good reactives. This is going to make one of her reactives better, so that's definitely something you want to look out for. This might be a great option for her. Now, this is a free piece of gear here, and it comes from the Zane Plus event with I can't believe I can't remember her name. Kaya, that's it, Kaya. So this piece of gear is linked to Kaya in the Zane Plus event, and it's plus 6 speed and plus 8 magic modifier. So once again, it's a speed and magic modifier item. Always good. First 3 turns of battle, if you have to resist magic or missile, obviously Fujika VCR is ideal. As far as the watering can goes, don't use it. It just doesn't work on her. There's no place to fit it. Saint Meteor, once again, if you put Saint Meteor on Emma, that's going to be an extra heal on top of the heal from her VCR. Keep that in mind. It's good every now and then, not in all cases, but it's good every now and then. And if you have the 3rd anniversary gear, this is more rate heals. I think this has 33% rate heals or 30% rate heals or something on it. So you can do this to buff up her support even more. Naturally, you'd be foregoing speed if you did this, but honestly, Emma has some decent speed. She doesn't have any speed gear on right now, and she has 148 speed, which is respectable and quite usable. And my cat is now in front of my screen. Anyways, what else do we got here? Because we still have more gear to get through here. So this is a new piece of gear, and I haven't tested on Emma yet, but I think it might be very good. Now, it's plus 50 magic, plus 20 healing, and healing does affect rate heals. Keep that in mind. So this will actually buff her ability to heal. But there's another thing on this. If your HP is below 50%, it's going to reduce your cast time by 1/3 to 2/3 of its original value. So what this essentially means is that Emma's overclock and AoE heal when she's below 50% is going to cast faster. And this is sort of a big deal, considering the fact that Emma should be being run at below 50% if you want to do damage with her. You're going to be below 50% HP a lot with Emma. You don't want to keep her HP topped off because she's a forecaster. So this actually becomes quite usable with her, in my opinion at least. If you want another item that is has healing on it, but you don't want to sacrifice as much speed, you can also run the Becca VCR, which is going to have 6 speed and plus 12 healing and 40 magic. Obviously, not as much heal, and you don't get the bonus of that cast time down, but you do get 6 speed out of it. So that is your choice to make. The Yoris VCR has 10 speed on it and 30 max joules. It's really not worth it, but if you don't have anything else and you need speed, I guess it works. The Fire Ring from Vita is another option because it's going to give you plus 20 Wind Exploit and plus 5 Fire all damage. So once again, this is a great damage option. And we also have the recent Macross raid bag or pouch or purse, whatever you'd like to say it. Technically speaking, it says bag up here. That says bag right there. But we call it a pouch or a purse, honestly. So it's Arthur's Man purse. And this is plus 2 jump and plus 40 jewel gain. And it'll also reduce your status resist by 100. And you're thinking, Mal, why on earth would you suggest this piece of gear? She has jewels down, and she has lower cost skills in general with the jewels down, and forecasters have relatively good jewel gain. Why would you use something that gives you 40 additional jewel gain? And the answer to that is if you do one attack, you're basically never gonna run out of jewels. You just quite simply, with the combination of the jewel down and the jewel gain, it will make it so that way Emma gains a ton of tempo and never really has to waste a turn in order to get those jewels back, which can actually be a big deal, because even if you gain a turn with a speed item, you also will still have to lose a turn later in order to get your jewels back. So it's just an idea. The +2 jump is also going to be good because it'll bump her up to +4. Or actually, it might just be +3. I'm not sure. No, it is +4. She has an innate too. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best option, but it's definitely worth keeping your mind open to this one because I think it could be a good piece of gear. And was there anything else I wanted to go over in here? I think that was the last item that I think might work on her. As you can see, Emma has a pretty versatile kit. Naturally, you can also use the Alchemist staff if you want the cheap and free, easy solution, or the Forecaster staff, which is once again designed for forecasters. If you want to use a staff instead of those other pieces of gear. So keep all that in mind as you're choosing what you want to put on your Emma. So what will I put on Emma here? I'm going to go ahead and put the Soul VCR on her. And let's go ahead and take... Actually, first, let's go through her loadout. So, as you can see, she's basically running a full Forecaster. And I think that she has her Astrologer reactive on. But honestly, it doesn't really matter what you set. They're all pretty awful, all things considered. As you might notice, I only have her base job at 19, and that is specifically so I can use her on auto and she doesn't spam rain. You should do that with all of your forecasters. You should never max their main job unless it's Crema. Crema is the exception because Crema is water and she gets her master ability buffs her rain, and she gets access to the Maya VCR, which will allow her to do basically a charge up to get even more damage out of her rain. Don't get me wrong, she's still not going to do more than like 200, 250 damage to like fire units with that, but it's still fun to use. And honestly, you might as well do it, since, you know, they give you the option. So instead of Era, let's go ahead and I don't want to do that. Actually, I'll keep Era on. No, I want HP. So we need an HP leader skill. Let's go ahead and choose Carla. And I'm going to go ahead and tag Noah on here. And we're going to set her up with... So I don't think I've shown this Nenso off, but there is a 3-star Nenso that works exceptionally well on Lustberg units. And it's plus 320 HP and plus 5 water resistance to Lustberg units, and it's a 3-star Nenso. It's not something you guys will likely get anytime soon, but I like to run this on a lot of my Lustberg units when I need an HP Nenso. And the reason we run an HP Nenso on a Lustberg unit is so that way we can buff Emma's HP up even more. And let's go ahead and throw Pamela in here for good measure. She doesn't need an Nenso for now, since I'm just showcasing. Oh shoot, I think I forgot to turn animations on. Well, I've already come this far in the video. There's absolutely no way I'm redoing this for that. Let's just get out of this battle here real quick and reset this here real quick. Real professional, right guys? This is what I get for doing all this stuff unscripted. Okay, skill animations are on. I think we're good to go. And my cat has just been circling around me on my desk, jumping down and then jumping up on the other side of me. In front of my screen, back and forth, back and forth. Lots of fun. Alright, so naturally, as with any forecaster, you should always start off with your HP buff. This is not really a compromisable thing. You always start off with the HP buff. Now, I'm not going to actually run any of Pamela's buffs today because you guys aren't going to have her. Well, I guess technically you'll have her once you get the job plus in the Kaigan. But, just to keep things not confusing for today, so you have a good idea of what Emma's capable of and not necessarily what Pamela is capable of. Let's go ahead and start running through the kit here. So, as you can see, she does not have a thunder attack in here, and that is because her thunder attack is now fire attack. which is a pretty big deal. That means she's going to do extra damage to wind units. Can I see it over here? I don't think it's going to show me the damage. I think I have to go up closer. Yeah, the only downside to running 4 people is it makes the actual showcase go a bit slower. But in order to showcase her properly, I wanted to show this. So, we're looking at about 5,000 damage on a wind unit with Emma and an AoE. And that's a pretty respectable number. I mean, it's not like it's like huge damage, but you also have to remember that it's instacast. So, you know, you take what you can get, obviously. And in this particular case, we're getting about 5,000. And Emma's really good at using that AoE because she got all of that luck from all of those different jobs. Let's go ahead and knock her HP down some more. If I was a... Here we go. So this is about where you're going to want Emma to be. You can obviously get her HP a little bit lower, but as you can see, about 2,000 HP, that's normally not enough to get one shot except on really hard maps. And you can still do some pretty great damage with that wind nuke. So this is a good place to be. It's not necessarily the best place to be. You can milk more out of that wind nuke. But I'm not going to go over the rest of her base kit because obviously you guys should already know what that does because you all have forecasters. Now, the wind nuke here, as you can see, about 2,000 HP left. We're doing about 15,000 to either thunder or wind enemies who are weak. Neutral enemies are going to take 1,200, and any enemy that resists about 10,000. That's enough to delete most enemies in the game in a single hit, except for like the super high-end content stuff. So just keep that in mind. The other thing to note about her actual kit itself is that this AoE has been changed. It now does significantly more damage and does extra damage to plants. I'll show that off in just a moment, but before I do, let's go ahead and show off this skill here. So this is a skill that is based around your luck, and it's kind of like a smaller version of your other AoE. Let's see if I can pull up the details on it here real quick. So it's 1.9 times your luck, and it doesn't look like it calculates it based off the enemy's luck like your other AoE does. And it's also going to have magic modifier plus 60 and strong plus versus wind plus 35. You know, it's not a bad AoE. It's just I don't find myself using it very often unless like I happen to have run out of skills for some reason. And just to quick show off her heal here, as you can see, it's quite potent. 50% rate heal heals a lot of HP. So let's go quick show off this attack against this. Actually, let's not do it against that. We'll do it against you. Yeah, I forgot to mention it does have a cast time on it. We'll go ahead and knock Emma's HP down even a little bit further than that. See if we can get a little more damage out of that wind nuke. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to make of that one, but it is what it is. And now we'll quick show off the wind nuke here. So down a little bit further, and we're doing about 17,000 damage with about 1,000 HP left. You know, that's quite a bit of damage, especially considering it's 9 joules and instacast. If Emma didn't get hit, she could cast all 9 of these easily without having to gain any joules. Now, this is the changed AoE. It did about 4,200 damage there, so not bad, right? So that's really all that has changed with Emma's kit here. honestly, it's not a ton. Most of the power that she got came from her Nenso and her Kaigan. It's like just the HP off her Kaigan. Being able to take more hits with higher HP, and the stringing together of Lust Nensos to buff her up. These all are going to make her more powerful as a unit. Emma is going to be a core unit in the future. One thing to note that I forgot to mention is that fire AoE that's centered around herself on her sub has fire resist down on it, which means she is a good raid unit, especially because she can lower her HP and just get off as many wind nukes as she can, and then she can die and bring in the next person, and she isn't like dead weight like some units can be once they run out of skills. So keep that in mind. She is going to be a great raid unit. She's a great support and a great unit overall. You're definitely going to want to farm her as soon as it's available to farm her. And you're going to want to at least be able to max your gate 1 and get your gate 3 to 3 for that 1 extra speed. As far as gear goes, you're going to want to chase the Tamamo VCR if you did not get yourself a life belt. The Tamamo VCR is like the quintessential forecaster gear. If you do not have it, I really do suggest getting it. And while Emma does not need her VCR or her Nenso to function, they are definitely very convenient to have. They will give you a little bit of extra damage, but that's really not where her damage comes from. Her damage comes from that wind nuke. So just remember that even if you don't manage to get her Nenso, it's not that big of a deal. You do lose that rate heal, which kind of hampers her a little bit as a support. But, you know, it is what it is. You can't get every Nenso, unfortunately. And the only reason I have as many Nensos as I do is just because when you play for a long time, you just kind of steadily get everything except that 1 or 2 items that, like, just seems to really evade you. So that is Emma in a nutshell. She's a great unit to have. Make sure you get a hold of her if you can. And that's all I have to say for today, guys. So thanks for watching as always, and I hope to see you next time.